All right, what's poppin', party people? You are tuned in for another poppin' episode of Pop Talk. This is your man, Professor Nims. I'm signing on for Coach Dave, Boston Jared, and the Casual Rand. All right, so let's get started with what we have. What was the massacre from this following weekend, which is your man Jerron Boots Ellis, who Ennis, excuse me, Jerron Boots Ennis, who took on your boy Villa, who is actually made a bit of a name for handing Rashidi Ellis his first loss. And
no, second loss. Second loss.
Okay.
That was Ellis's second loss. He had lost to Alexi Rocha.
Oh, okay. Thank you for bringing up that point. But this was this put him in a position to challenge Boots Ennis. And in fact, he told his management that he would not take any other fight besides this fight against Ennis, which for somebody who is known as the boogeyman of the division, I think this says a lot about Villa. And he had only had one prior defeat, which was a disputed split decision loss. Both fighters had never been down in this fight, but when they commenced to get into the ring and start throwing them fists, it seemed early on that Ennis was a class above Villa. So let's kind of talk about this result for Boots. Do you think that this was something that would quiet the critics from his previous bout, which was not something that was too crowd pleasing? And then we will also talk about the kind of next steps for Ennis going into this bout. So we're gonna start off with Boston Jared, and give us your kind of your views on Boots Ennis' performance, first of all, and then we'll kind of circle back around and talk about what's next for him.
Hey, I thought it was a solid performance. He was able to prove me wrong. In our text, as we got through about the first quarter of the fight, I really questioned whether or not Boots would be able to keep that pace up that he started off with throughout the course of the fight. I wondered because Villa, around the third round, was able to displace Ennis and get him on his back foot and get him moving, and he wasn't able to get that same leverage on his shots. He kept on moving Ennis around the ring and started to dictate the pace a little bit, but Ennis was able to plant his feet in spots and really able to stand and deliver good hard shots that eventually were able to break down. It was Villa's lack of defense in a combination with Boots's very, very, very solid offensive attack that was able to ultimately break this dude down and get him up out of it, man. After that the sixth round where he had Villa hurt bad, you could see Villa didn't have the same commitment to coming forward, the same desire to want to really, really press forward because those shots were getting to him and those shots were starting to hurt, man. But I think good overall performance from Boots. I am a little bit, as he steps it up, and make no mistake about it, this was a big step up fight. If you go back to our last show, you had to remind me who Romain Villa was. I went back and I watched that Rashidi Ellis fight, and obviously I watched this fight with him and Boots. Romain Villa is every single bit of a top 10 welterweight. So the people running around talking about Boots fighting bums, I would stop short of calling guys like this bums. I would pick Villa to beat every single guy that Virgil Ortiz has beaten so far. I would go that far, or to be extremely competitive with every single guy that a guy like Virgil Ortiz has beaten so far. So yeah, good overall performance, man. Boots showed, like you pointed out in the pre-production, Cam, very, very, very good poise, right? Because he he was fighting a little bit faster than I think he likes to fight normally. If you look at his punch stats, I bet you his output was significantly higher than it normally is. And great conditioning, like Dave pointed out in the pre-pro, he was able to keep that pace up. And the leverage and the speed, the velocity, the power on his shots carried through what did he get him out of there in the 9th round?
Yes, I think on it.
9th round. Yeah. I mean, props to him. Just going back a little bit, the one thing I would be a little concerned about, Ennis is very, very vulnerable during exchanges, during the middle of exchanges and at the end of exchanges. And you saw Ennis get caught with that shovel hook or that shovel uppercut. He got caught a few times with that. I don't know how much of a puncher Villa is. And I wonder if he's in there, if Boots ends up in there with a guy like Crawford or a guy like Thurman, guys who have demonstrated good power, if he's able to take that shot as well. But that's a little bit nitpicky, right? It's a fight. Guys get hit in fights. So yeah, overall solid performance.
So, Coach, you were the only one who gave a fight prediction or a pundit pick for this fight. We maybe a little bit naively, we didn't even give our pundit picks for this fight. I think everybody was choosing Boots Ennis by KO in this match, but you had predicted a 6th round KO, and this was actually the first time where Romain Villa was actually hurt in the bout. Can you talk a little bit about what you saw from Boots in his performance, and how do you think he was ultimately able to take out a fighter who had never been dropped previously?
Yeah, so, well, piggybacking the same thing that Boston said, that dude just, that conditioning, man, just phenomenal. The hardness of his punches, and it just, that Joker just had no foot, was just on the gas. And he was just throwing those bombs, man, So I picked the 6th round because, to be honest with you, I agree with what you said about the competitiveness and the strength of opposition that is within Villa, but this was nothing that Boots hadn't seen before. And if you're going to just like stand in front of Boots, man, you're going to pay that price, because the guy throws bunches of punches and he's slick with it. He's in the pocket with it. He's a very versatile guy. So I picked that 6th round stoppage because I knew, looking at the old fights of Villa, that this cat's coming forward. He was just basically tailor-made. I think that body shot, man, and the work invested there might have kind of set things up to hurt this guy. And I only picked the 6th round because this guy was going to come forward. And I just figured, you just can't keep coming forward on Boots like that. I underestimated his chin, man, and the guy's a tough son of a gun, man. He's a tough fighter, man. And
which guy are you talking about? Boots or the
Villa?
Yeah.
Yeah, he hung up in there. Now, let me go back to this point. I can't say that Boots totally quiet, every critic, because we haven't seen a skilled fighter that fight him in the same way that where we saw him kind of get exposed. And somebody's moving, somebody's solidly punching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still going to always be there. But make no mistake about it, and let me be crystal clear. Boots are kind of different breed, bro. And if you don't have a lot of air in your tires as you're trying to get on your bicycle with this man, I say he would be a threat for anybody. Anybody.
You gotta hurt him. What do you think? I think, Dave, with a guy like that, you have to come out and you have to really get your respect early. It seems if he's not worried about anything, it's over. It's over for you.
I would agree with that, but the only thing that I would counter and add to it, I think with Boots, man, and what I'm seeing is before you hurt him, you got to frustrate him because
Okay.
Boots does get desperate and he starts. You saw what he did in that fight where this cat was moving and he just wasn't there. Boots got frustrated and he's already vulnerable. You saw the shots that he took. So I would be telling somebody, man, you know, be like flies around a piece of turd. Be like gnats around just something. Just be pestering him, get him frustrated, get him desperate, lunging and reaching. And then, yes, like you said, sit down, punish, and try to hurt this guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Sit down, punish, and try to hurt this guy after you can get him desperate and going. But you just stand there with this man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's bring in the casual Rand. So give us your thoughts on this this performance. Do you think that this was a start making performance for Boots Ellis? Boots Ennis, excuse me. No, I keep
Yeah, I think it does move the needle a bit. And it's a night and day performance of his last one against Karen, where the doubters start creeping in. And then now with this one against Vila, now he's back being the world beater. But to me, at this point of his career, I call him the Black Munguia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you said that. I didn't get that. I didn't get that.
At 32 fights, he's just now creeping in the top 10 at 32 fights. That sounds like a Munguia. That sounds like a Munguia record.
As far as his resume, not as far as his skill set that he's done.
I'm talking resume. I'm talking
resume.
Resume to me, it equals Munguia. You know what I'm saying? You spoke like this day and age, we fighting for championships, we fighting for belts at 20. You know what I'm saying? We got someone that's in there like at 12. So
let me ask you this. Who is Derevianchenko on Boots' resume? Does he have a Derevianchenko on his resume?
It would have to be Villa.
Is Villa Derevianchenko?
That's what I'm saying. If I call him the Black Munguia, I would say at least Munguia had Derevianchenko. Boots don't have that. Boots don't have that yet at 30 fights. That's the whole concept I'm trying to bring out. That he's at 32 fights and he's still fighting like prospects. Right. Or has-beens. But now he stepped up into a top 10 at his 32nd fight. He's fighting a top 10 opponent and he shined. I'm tapering everybody's expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like hands down, he showed out. He looked wonderful. But at 32 fights, man, you're supposed to be looking wonderful at this point.
Yeah.
And then what Dave was like alluding to, what I got out of what Coach Dave was saying, like if you look down his resume, a lot of these guys are the flat-footed, prodding, straightforward opponents. So if you do put them against a Keith Thurman, what's going to happen? If you do put them against another slick, you know what I'm saying, that counter-punching slick, powerful puncher, what's going to happen? Because I haven't seen that in his resume, and so I don't know.
Well, he'll whoop Thurman's ass.
Everybody's saying that, but I don't know.
I think so.
Well, hey, look. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Bob.
No, let's kind of use that to kind of segue, because one of the things that I said is that he looks like the man at 147, you know, that is the top contender, right? So we got the two guys at the top of the hill, who Crawford and Spence, who are gonna fight that out, but they're gonna be basically engaged, you know, into their battles for the next 12, 18 months.
Potentially, shit.
So where does that leave Ennis? Now, some of us have suggested that he may be tempted to go ahead and move up to 154 and fight somebody like a Keith Thurman, or maybe even a Tszyu. I mean, not Tszyu, but a Tim.
Damn, not Tszyu. That'd be
Not
amazing.
yeah. But maybe maybe even a Tim Tszyu who was also without a viable dance partner, at this time because of his him losing the fight against Charlo. But where do you see him going next after that? And Cadgeran, we'll stay with you on this one.
It depends. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely depends on what Jamel's going to do. Like, I wouldn't go up to 154 and fight Tszyu for no belt. I mean, because their name recognition isn't going to get them the millions of dollars. Like, if you fighting Tank, you fighting for millions of dollars for no belt. But if you fighting Tszyu, you just fighting them. There's no belt on the line, and you ain't getting no payday on the line.
I don't know about the payday part.
Yeah,
unless he fight him if he go to Australia.
There you go. That's
so now you forcing him to go fight in Australia to make money. So I mean,
I know somebody that went to Australia and became a undisputed champion and got some really good payday.
But listen to what you just said. He went to Australia to become a champion. Tszyu don't have no belts.
Tszyu has an interim belt, and what we're saying is that at some
point, you gonna fly all the way around the world for a Reggie.
Well, what I'm saying is that at some point, Jamel is going to have to do something. I don't think that he's going to come back down to 154.
I don't.
There you go. That's what
I'm saying. So he would be elevated. So he would be a champion.
There you go. That's
a lot of what ifs and what not. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's just as many what ifs at welterweight.
It's probably more what ifs.
True. But it's easier for him to control if Spence and Crawford vacates. He can control all 4 belts. He go to 154. He only hold that belt for like one defense.
No. If they vacate, the belts are going to be splintered, right? There's
That's
no
what
way
I'm saying.
He doesn't control anything.
Look at the 147 landscape. He has a path, or is there for him to control 147. If he goes,
but a payday though. You said the first thing you said was a payday. Where do you see a payday out there? Because Virgil Ortiz is out at this point. It
looks that way. He hasn't been dropped yet. But I will say this:
I say
Ennis is not a top 4 guy at welterweight in any of the sanctioning bodies.
He's not. I think that's just he pissed somebody off because he's not on the list at all.
And that's
I see that. That's
but I mean, at the same time, you can't. You were just critical of his resume, though, right? So that wouldn't that?
Nah, he was ranked.
He was ranked at one time. So he pissed somebody off, or he didn't pay something. You know what I'm saying?
He probably didn't pay sanctioning.
So you're saying that he just need to go ahead and go to his best bet is to go to Australia to fight Tszyu.
No. That's now. Can I jump in real quick, Cam? What I would do if I were there, my potential path is sit down and talk with Danny Garcia's people and try to get a Danny Garcia fight in Philly at 154 pounds. Maybe that's a co-main.
Why?
Maybe that's a main event.
Why? Y'all shooting back to 154 when you know Spence and Bud going to 154.
Right, but we don't know when. Here's my thing.
He only gonna be a champ for like a good 2 or 3 weeks, and then one of them is gonna go ahead and scrap him up.
Who are you talking about?
Ennis. If Ennis goes to 154, he is not looked at to be the man at 154 if Spence and Crawford both go to 154.
Well, Spence and Crawford ain't going to 154 until they take care of business. And like you pointed out, that might be a year. That might be a year's worth of time. If you're Ennis's people, if the money is right? If the money is right, and Danny Garcia, you might have to take one of his kids hostage to make that fight happen. So it's a bit of a stretch. But let's say the money is right, and you make Danny Garcia versus Boots in Philly sometime in the fall. That could be your acclimation fight. Let's say you're testing the waters at 154 pounds. Boots weighed in 2 pounds under the welterweight limit, by the way, which
Yeah,
I
he
thought
did.
was fucking crazy. So
But
whatever he
looked
does,
good on the scales though.
whatever he does it well. He doesn't have to do this, but this is to me his quickest path to a belt. You get a guy like Danny in the fall, potentially, either Danny or a guy like Lubin. I think Danny's a bigger fight, right? For him in Philly with Danny. You do that, then you try to line up a guy like Fundura in the spring. See if you can get a Fundura fight in the spring. You take out Danny, you take out Fundura, you're looking at a Tszyu fight at the end of next year, which would be the same as waiting for the Crawford Spence winner. And by that time, I'm willing to bet Tszyu has been elevated, or this kid Mendoza has been elevated.
So y'all rather him go to 154 than to fight like Stanionis?
Absolutely. I have no interest.
Keith Thurman or even Ugas at 147.
I don't need to see him fight.
I think well, Keith was trying to fight Danny Garcia at 154. Keith was a little bit long in the tooth, but Coach Dave. So one thing I do want to say, so let's be upfront, is that Boots did weigh in 2 pounds under the 147-pound weight limit. He says that he has no problem making the weight, and he wants all of the belts at that weight division. So, Coach, I want you to take off your coaching hat, put on your promoter hat, and then how would you advise your young charge at this point? Would you have him wait around for maybe 2 years to try to secure all of those belts, or would you go for the big splash maybe at 154 pounds?
So, man, all right. So for me, to be honest with you, I'm gonna try to take off the coaching hat, man, but I can't because my decision is based off of the coaching. All right. I would want him to just go ahead on and clean up this 147. You got no problem making weight. You dominating. The coaching part comes in at where I'm saying, doggone well that you got some stuff to work on. We get a light-footed, hard-punching fighter that can frustrate us, we gonna have some problems. And as you move up to 154, if you do, that's filled with those types of jokers. At 154, right?
Go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
If he goes up to 154, there's probably guys up in that division that can frustrate. Boots is boots. But you're asking me what would I do with him? Hey man, Earl and them, let them do their things. They gonna vacate, they gonna be gone. They're not let Crawford, Earl do what they're gonna do, and they're gonna be gone. Right? That's already an established thing. Go ahead on, get the belts, work on your craft, all right? And then if you want to chase those cats at 154, then you go head on and chase them at 154, be it whoever it is that's up in that division. But mind you, even as you're working on that stuff, your stuff at 147, be it whoever else is left in 154. I don't know, man, what Charlo might be left in there if he's coming back down or after he fight Canelo. I don't know. That kid, Xander Zaya, all these guys are gonna be getting better. So that's why I'm trying to say that there are some cats at 154 down the road, brother, that could possibly get his cat some issues. So I would clean up the belts at 147, man. It's what I would do, and then start looking at 154 if you need it. That's
Can I ask Dave a couple questions here real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave, let me ask Dave. Who would you pick, him versus Lubin right now? Boots versus Lubin.
I think Boots would get him, bro. I'll be honest with you.
Let me ask you this.
But I think
against Tszyu. Boots against Tim Tszyu.
He don't like Tszyu, so he's gonna pick.
But I'm saying, this is somebody who's not fleet of foot. He's gonna come forward. I mean, I think he has some underrated boxing, technical skills. He's not a Villa, but this is not somebody that he's gonna have to chase after.
Anybody that's not light on their feet, I'm giving it to Boots. And for the record, I'm gonna say again, I am not impressed with Tszyu's body work. I am not impressed. impressed with it. So if he try to come forward with boots with that raggedy body work, he going to sleep.
What about Terrell Gachet? What about Gachet?
Uh-uh.
I had to take in all fairness, I had to take a solid look at him, bro. To be honest with you, I don't.
Okay, last one. How about Brian Castano?
Be a good fight.
He
coming forward though. That's you know exactly what Castano doing. He coming.
But
there's not too many people that I would have above Boots. Though, to be honest,
we're at 154.
At 154.
Hold on. Castano still, but hold on. Is he come? So I look at Villa with an aggressive, not necessarily controlled focus coming forward. What do you think Stanios would be still coming forward?
He'd be much more educated,
Much more educated, bro. So and that could make a difference. So that's why I'm telling you, it'd be a good fight. And it's those little nuances, man, that it's just hard for me not to think about from a coach's angle.
So as an educated boxing fan, Dave, I go back to this. Would you rather see Boots Lubin, Boots Castano, or Boots Stanionis, Boots Ghost of Keith Thurman?
I don't want to see Keith Thurman. Stanionis probably.
You'd rather see Boots Stanionis than Boots Lubin or Boots Castano?
Yeah, but listen though. But here the reason why is I probably am still one of those critics that say, "Let me see what he does with an educated fighter or whatever."
Okay, what about you guys?
Well, I like, and then I'll give credit to you, but I want to throw it to the casual rain after this. I say, go and make a name for yourself. Fight Danny Garcia. Try to, because it was a packed crowd, but as Boston Jared said, it was basically at a big mega church that they were fighting at, but they could at least get 10 to 12,000 people in Philly, bring out all of the rappers or whatnot, have rappers walk them into the ring and stuff. Fight Danny Garcia at 154. I don't know if he can knock. I mean, Danny Garcia has a chin. I don't think he's ever been down. But
he's stopping Danny.
If he can stop Danny Garcia, this guy will be one of the faces of boxing. So the casual ran. So would you rather see him fight Stanionis at 147? Fight Danny Garcia.
How many lost Garcia? Is it three? Three lost Garcia with no
something
power
like that.
With no power at 154 versus
he's got a knockout at 154
against who?
Well, let me see. Go ahead.
Yeah. So no power at 154 with 3 losses, and then versus the dude that beat Danny Garcia and with 1 loss, even though y'all saying he long in the tooth. I mean, y'all saying y'all bringing up Garcia, but then poo-pooing Thurman. Thurman is probably in better, boxing shape than Garcia. He's taking less punishment.
But when's the last time Thurman fought?
Well, you act like Garcia's every 6 months.
No, but Garcia's fought more. He's been more active than Keith Thurman. Didn't he have a fight a couple months ago? A month and a half ago?
If he did, that proves my second thing. He got no name. We don't know if he fought a month ago. Nobody watched that shit.
We did. We covered it.
Yeah, we covered. So y'all
he fought Jose Benavidez Jr.
Oh my God.
Who's the last guy Keith Thurman fought? You scoffing at Jose Benavidez.
I am scoffing. Gunshot Benavidez. Yes, I am scoffing at him.
Right, but the point is...
So Stanionis has a belt. Just like y'all said, it's the Reggie belt, but he has a belt. So I would rather see him fight Stanionis at 147 for a belt and Keith Thurman, who's the number 1 contender at 147, than to jump and fight Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
And Lubin.
Yeah, so I'm with casual on that, man. That's why I say, hey, Stanionis.
Those names do not move the needle, man. Last time we saw Lubin, You know what I'm saying? His face broke up. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not true. He's coming off a win. He just beat up.
Oh.
He just stopped Arias. That's
Oh,
not
okay.
true.
Oh, okay. He came off a win, but when you say Lubin, when you think of Lubin, you think of his ass getting knocked out.
Right, but those guys are stylistically going to challenge him a lot more than
But
I think the ghost of Keith Thurman.
I still take the ghost of Keith Thurman, Stanionis, and shit. I'll even throw Ugas in there, and I think those are better fights than what you just mentioned at 154.
Yeah, man. I agree. I'm with Cash, man. I like 47, man. I'm with Cash.
Okay, now last question.
Hey, hold on. Let me say this before you say that. And then what Cam said that he stated, he wants all the belts.
This is what he stated. This is what he stated himself.
Yeah, so if he wants all the belts, all four, it's going to be an easier road at 147 than 154.
I don't know. See, it would bring me to my last point, and I'll end with this, maybe. Right? Al Heyman, PBC has 154 pound lock. They have all the fighters. They've got all the belts. And let me ask you this:
What now?
Who is going to want more money to fight Boots Ennis? A guy like Lubin or a guy like Keith Thurman?
Well, you know, Thurman gonna want the whole daggone.
He's gonna want. Yes, he's gonna want more. Now, Danny's gonna want a lot of money too. Danny's gonna want a lot of money too. But Danny, this fight is a lot more significant for him. I think it could be a passing of the torch kind of fight for him. You can maybe sell it to him that way. He don't really want to fight no more anyway.
I don't think he does either.
I think from a business standpoint, if you're Al, you can make big fight. You can build Boots and pay his opposition less money. Ugas is going to want a lot of money to fight Boots. I think Thurman's going to want, like Dave said, all the money in the world to fight Thurman. Castano will fight him for a discounted price. Fondura will probably fight him for a discounted price. So will Lubin and Gachet. And those fights are going to be more compelling fights than fucking Stanionis. But anyway.
So just to kind of close this out a little bit. So this has been proposed before to Ennis, but this was back all the way back in 2020. And this is from Boots Ennis. He said a Boots Garcia fight would be huge in Philly. Danny is my man. He came up in my gym, but I think a fight with Danny would be a big help to both of us. It's something a lot of people would want to see. I can tell you that. So it's something that I think that he would, even like, that Boots would like to see at this point. But, it just really depends on. So I think that I agree with you. I think that I'm not sure how much longer Danny wants to fight, and he's gonna have to cash out at some point. And this could be a big fight. If they have, I don't know if it can be pay-per-view, particularly if there is no belts on the line. But if somehow the 147-pound belts get fractured, then there is an opportunity for them to maybe fight for a vacant title. But does anybody, because we'll probably need to move on